Okay, mine's on.
There we go. Join the video. Here we are.
Oh, ding dong.
Here we are.
Mine's not. Right? Isn't that what you told me to do the video last time? I did. Carrie's on mute.
You scratch your back, I'll scratch yours. Thank
Yeah, there's a
Oh.
big O, you can see.
Oh, is it just Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everyone.
How's everybody doing today? Everybody good? Give us a second while we all get set up and get everybody muted on our end so you don't hear us echoing.
Here it is, here it is, here it is. See, right here.
If you'll go ahead and sign in if you have not already started to do so, again on your chat. If you've been with us all week, you know the drill. On your chat box, if you will click on your chat and give me your first and last name and what school you are from, we would greatly appreciate it. That way we can see who's here. I'll give you a second to do that, and then a couple more things before we get started this morning. We still have about another minute or so, so we'll wait before we officially get started. But those of you that are here, if you will go ahead and log in for us, type your name and what school you are from, and we'll get started in just a moment. Be sure you have your microphone muted so we don't get any background noise, but we would like your video to be on so we can see all your wonderful bright faces this early Thursday morning. So if you would, please do have your video going because we do like to see your smiles. That does give us some kind of interaction. Yes, if you don't have a camera, that's okay. We won't call you out. We'll be like, hey, why is your video not going? Just kidding, we won't. Okay, if you're just joining us, make sure you have signed in. Also, if you do know of somebody that did not get the invitation to join us, go ahead. You can forward it to them, but I do want to point out every link you got this week, if you've been with us all week long, it does have attachments to us. Yesterday, I did have somebody ask about receiving the PowerPoints. If I could email that to you. You did get the attachments along with the Zoom invite. So I'm going to show you where those are, just in case you do want to go back and print them up. If you still can't find it after I show you where it is or something happens, I will re-email them to you if you email and ask me. I'm not just going to send them all out unless you specifically ask me. So I'm going to show you really quick where those are, because for today's, you will need the attachments. Well, you don't need them, but it will help you if you have them. So in your email, if you open up your email, and on the left-hand side, down at the very bottom, you can see right here, you have the little envelope because that's like the email page I'm on now. The next little icon over, if you scroll over it, it shows your calendar. If you click on that icon, your calendar will pop up.
We're not seeing that on ours, maybe. Are they seeing it?
We see the PowerPoint.
Oh, okay, hold on, sorry. Why is it not showing? Okay, let's try that. How about that?
There it went.
Now you see my calendar. Okay, let's start over. Sorry about that. Okay, there's my email. So again, on the left-hand side, if you can look down at the bottom, you see the little envelope. That is your email page you see here. The next little icon is a calendar icon. If you scroll over that, you can see how a calendar pops up. If you click on that calendar icon, then you see your calendar. notice how all week long, all of our little Zoom meetings we've been doing will pop up here. I'm going to click on today's 9 a.m. Summer Institute chunking. If I double click on that, the Zoom meeting for today pops up. And notice how you can see all of these attachments here. These are the attachments that I sent out with today's Zoom meeting. So if you happen to have missed that, that's how you can go back and find those. And then you can click on any of these. There's the PowerPoint for today, the chunking lesson that Miss Kathy's going to do with us. And then these pages here are what we're going to read today that's going to go along with the chunking. You might also notice if you went through here and read, it said you will need a blank sheet of paper and something to write with to help you chunk your reading. So if you did not get a blank sheet of paper and something to write with, I'll give you just a second here in a moment to get that before we start. So also, if you were in any one of our trainings this week, you can go back and click on any one of these. So I'll go back to the very first one we did, and you can see there's the PowerPoint, and then there's the roll the dice questions. So you can go back any of these all week long and click on any of them. There's the attachments from the week. So if you want that lovely article that we had on Tuesday, there it is. You can have it. Now, Kathy Rodriguez, don't you shake your head no at me. But there's all the attachments. That's a thumbs up. But they're all there if you want them, but they're on your calendar. So there's an easy way to go find them. So with that, again, if you're just joining us, I was just showing everybody how to find the articles. And please make sure you sign in. Make sure your microphones are off. Make sure your cameras are on. If you have cameras, I am going to turn everything over to Miss Kathy, and we are going to get started.
Hello, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Angela Baeza. I am one of your instructional coaches, and I look forward to working with y'all this upcoming year. And thank you so much for being here with us this morning.
Hi, I'm Carrie Pruitt. I'm one of your instructional coaches, and like Angela said, we can't wait to work with you this year, and thank you for being here.
Good morning. We are so glad you're here. Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate you.
Hi everyone, we got an echo. I'm Skylar Kirkpatrick, and I'm going to be one of your instructional coaches for next year.
All right. So like I said, we're so glad you're here. Chunking actually is one of our favorite strategies. It is a strategy that we have seen benefit kiddos of all ages. So we're super happy you're here, and we hope that you learn a lot today, or at least enjoy your time. The one thing about chunking, the only negative I've heard is it does take time. And so it's one of those strategies, but you know what? A lot of times the things that do take time reap the most benefits. And so I really do think I've had teachers say, you know, it does take some time. So it's something I'm really glad you guys are here. I'm glad you're going to participate in this training, and then maybe you can think about it over the summer, and then hopefully when school starts, it might be something that you'll want to model for your kids. And just like we talked about on Monday, chunking takes model, because kids need to see it over and over and over from you being modeled, because our goal eventually is that they can chunk on their own. So anyways, okay, if we can go to the next slide, please. All right, research says, and this is 100% true, and I think we as teachers all know this, research says that when taught in small chunks, our overall retention and comprehension are far higher. And that's our goal. If we're going to have kiddos read something, we absolutely want them to remember what they read. And I feel like it builds kids' confidence. When they can tell you what they've read, it makes the buy-in to reading 10 times greater. So we absolutely want to teach in smaller chunks. If you look at the benefits, it's especially beneficial for an expository text. You can use chunking with anything, but I feel like when you're modeling it initially, it's good to use an expository text, because an expository text obviously is a nonfiction text that exposes kiddos to a lot of facts, and they feel really smart. So when you finish chunking, there's a lot of things that they've learned, and anytime you can empower kiddos and make them feel smart, you've done your job, and that's good. So chunking definitely does that. It slows down reading to increase retention and comprehension, which we talked a lot about that with Story Arc yesterday. And it is it's like the Story Arc in that you just have to slow it down, but the benefits are tenfold, I think. So it helps train students to read with a purpose. So we'll have a chunking lesson here in a minute, but when kiddos are reading, they're thinking, what words am I going to write on my chunking page? So they're really paying attention to what are those important words? What do I need to be cognizant of and focused on? And then it equips students with a lifelong strategy that can be used regardless of their age. And I will speak for myself, and I won't tell you my age, but it's way up there. Anyways, I use chunking every Saturday morning. I chunk my Sunday school lesson, and every Saturday morning I chunk, and it helps me remember what I need to remember. And so it's very, very valuable for me. I know Amy will be doing book studies in our job. We have book studies that we do as coaches, and sometimes the information is quite challenging. Not quite like that article that we made you read the other day, but sometimes it's like, whoa,
major chunking.
yeah, major. But it's very academic, and it's something that you really have to think about what you're reading. And so when we were doing our book study, we were chunking in our textbooks or in our book from Amy, so that it helped us remember.
It helped me when I was going through school through my master's, and I saw this strategy done in a classroom by Judy. And then I've seen you do it multiple times. I was like, I started chunking my textbooks, my college textbooks, and it has helped me so much. I actually just lent one this morning, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to tell him it's all chunked up on the that book's chunked up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a huge help.
Yeah, it definitely
It's a lifelong strategy.
Right, it definitely helps you remember. And I know that as far as little testimonials, so I have modeled a lot of chunking lessons, and it's so fun to go in a classroom and work with kiddos. What a blessing. But different buildings, I know I modeled a chunking lesson at Broadmoor not too long ago. I guess, well, maybe it was a while back. Time flies. I don't know when it was, but anyway, and so the kiddos did a great job, and the teacher had them chunk, for quite a while. And then some kiddos maybe the brighter kiddos were kind of like, you know what, this slows us down. No, we don't want to be slowed down. And so the teacher said, okay, you know what? We're going to take an assessment. I don't even know which one it was. If you don't want to chunk, you don't have to. If you want to chunk, you can. And she said it was about half and half, because kids, they'd start becoming confident and think they don't need to. And so they did that. And so she kind of recorded the scores, and she compared the scores, and the kiddos that chunked had far higher scores. So she said she shared that with their kiddos. So they realized they're getting a lot of bang for their buck. Yes, chunking does take time, but our kiddos want to make good grades. They want to have, they want to be successful and do well. So she was able to show them, you know what? Chunking works, and I can show it to you because we can look at the scores with chunking and without chunking. And then I know I had a teacher at another school tell me she used chunking for her close reading companion, and she said the scores went up big time. So yes, absolutely, just those little passages, those little snippets that you have to read in the close reading companion, because like I said, you can chunk anything. I had teachers tell me that they used it for the Wonders Weekly assessments, and even though the assessments are on the computer, you chunk on a piece of chunking paper. So it's no problem if it's on the computer, that works out just fine. So it can be on the computer, it can be in a text, it doesn't matter either way. And then you might be thinking, well, this sounds a lot like annotating, because as teachers, we've all had our kids annotate. We've had them underline, we've had them highlight, we've had them box, circle, those kinds of things. And that is great. But I think when kiddos read more purposefully, thinking, what words am I going to write on my chunking page to help me remember what was important in this paragraph? I think you get more bang for your buck. I think this takes it a step further than just the typical annotation that we all used to do. So, all right, with that being said, let's go ahead and start our lesson. So if everyone will please go to the actual chunking lesson. All right, well, here we are. Everybody's good. Okay, so I am going to, and it's hard, but I'm going to do my best to model this like we were in a real classroom, because I've got some real precious coaches with us, so that is a good thing. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to start off and just try to pretend like I'm the teacher and you guys are the kiddos. So boys and girls, I have a question for you. Have any of you ever read a text, a passage, a story, and forgotten what you've read? Has that ever happened to any of you?
Yes.
It has? Oh my goodness. You're all saying it has. And Ms. Pruitt's the teacher. Ms. Pruitt, has that ever happened to you?
Ma'am,
It has. So boys and girls, guess what? Even Miss Pruitt, who is the teacher, she has read
Yeah.
things that she forgets. So today we are going to do something that good readers do. We are going to learn to chunk. So everybody give it to me. Ready? Chunk. Everybody, one more time. Chunk. If we were in the classroom, look at your shoulder partner and let's show them what we're getting ready to do. We're going to chunk. Look at your teacher and show her what we're getting ready to do. We're going to chunk. All right, very, very good. Chunking is super exciting and it's a lot of fun and it makes you so stinking smart. So, and you can chunk anything. You can chunk your reading writing workshop because we use our reading writing workshop every week, don't we? You can chunk your literature anthology. We already talked about you can chunk your close reading companion, the Wonders weekly assessments. You can even chunk those on the computer because you have a chunking page. You can chunk your studies weekly. You can chunk your SCAs. And side note for the teachers, so when Amy writes an SCA, she gives it to us and she usually asks us to take it. I always have to chunk it because it just makes it make more sense to me. And once I chunk it, basically when I go to answer all the questions, the answers are on the chunking page. So it's just smart teaching, smart working, smart learning. Chunking your SCA is a great thing to do. And if you teach your kiddos how to chunk from the beginning of the year, then when it's time for the SCAs, they'll be comfortable and they'll be able to do it. Because this is not a strategy you want to wait till the week before the SCAs and say, okay, boys and girls, I'm going to teach you a strategy and you're going to need to use it on your SCA because that could add some stress. This is something you want to, and you do it in little snippets. Chunking is little pieces at a time, and you want to model chunking with little pieces at a time. The park, I know it's not called the park anymore, but that's a great thing to chunk because we send our kiddos, think about this, if you're a park grade teacher or secondary, whatever, we send our kiddos into the computer lab to take their SCAs. You give them a blank piece of paper, and when it's the math SCA, they write all kinds of stuff because they're working problems on their scratch paper. All that's great. We send them in with a blank piece of paper when they're taking their ELA part. They don't know what to do with their paper. They're like, it usually, or at least the year, when I was in the classroom and I gave the park, that piece of paper was totally blank because they had no clue what to do with it. This, if you teach them how to chunk, it gives them a plan for what to do on that piece of paper. So I think it's a great strategy. We love it.
It's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. Thank you, Angela. It really is a no-brainer. And like our job as teachers is to set our kiddos up for success. And I feel like this is a strategy that honestly does set kids up for success. And again, anything on the computer, any kind of assessment on the computer, in the classroom, I didn't think about that. I wasn't smart enough, I guess. I thought, oh, I could chunk if it's on, it's on a piece of paper, if it's in a workbook or it's a worksheet or whatever. But if it was on the computer, I didn't realize, oh man, all you do is take a piece of paper in. You can absolutely chunk on a chunking page. And that's what we call it. So like I said, you can chunk anything that you do not want to forget. And when kids are reading, they don't want to forget what they're reading. So let's go ahead and get started with our actual lesson. If you will please open your reading writing workshop to page 262. And you guys have that. Wendy has that on the screen for you. So basically, chunking. All you do is you divide up your passage into smaller pieces. So we will read one paragraph at a time. When we finish reading our paragraph, we will write some words on our chunking page. But before we do that, I want to ask you one question. Have any of you ever seen your mom or dad or grandma or grandpa make a grocery list? Yeah,
Yes.
they do. Yeah, on that grocery. And why do they make a grocery list?
They don't forget.
So they don't forget.
They know what they need to
Absolutely.
get.
Right. So when they make their grocery list, do they write, when I go to the grocery store, I need to buy some milk? And then do they write, when I go to the grocery store, I need to buy some eggs? Do they make a list like that? Or what does the list look like?
Just
Words.
Oh, just words. So they might just write milk, or they might just write eggs. And that is what you want to remember about your chunking page. You don't want to write incomplete sentences. It is great. And I've seen teachers that are just doing amazing things. But chunking is a strategy that you want it to be, I don't know how to say, maybe the word speedy. I mean, you want them to be able to chunk in a timely manner. You don't want it to be something that takes up so much time that they absolutely think, I'm not doing this because this lady's wearing me out. You want it to be, you want to read a paragraph and write a word or two, or maybe a short phrase that helps kiddos remember what was important in that paragraph. So remember, no long sentences. Tell kiddos, you're just going to write a word or a few words or a phrase, or maybe even draw a picture
Yes.
which is really good for the little people. When the little people are reading text, it's so cool if the teacher, when you're modeling it, you just draw a picture. It can just be a little bitty simple picture that when they look at, they remember, yeah, we talked about the sun. I remember in that paragraph, that's what we did, because there's just a picture. So I hope that makes sense to you. Before you have your kiddos open, you have them get on the right text, then you pass out your chunking page. I like to use colored chunking paper. This is just this gold paper. You can use anything you want. And I always tell kiddos that. You can chunk on notebook paper. You can chunk on an index card. You can chunk on any color paper, white paper. It doesn't make any difference. The reason I like to use the colored paper is after I go in and model a chunking lesson, I feel like if the teacher does want to continue with it, it's easier for kiddos to find a piece of yellow paper in their desk versus just another white page. So that's really the only reason. So I'm going to give the girls here a chunking page. So if you will use your paper, I know you guys have a chunking page. And if you will, on your chunking page, if you will go ahead and write your name.
Do you want us to go ahead and switch over to Captain?
Probably. Well, yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Yeah.
Because they're going to need the lesson.
Yeah, they're going to kind of need both. So,
Would you
I
guys
think-
rather have it on the paper, on the words, or would you rather be able to see Kathy? You can actually see both if you will adjust your little screen so that you can see Kathy. I'm trying to figure out how to make this make the best sense. On your little view box, your little thumbnail video, if you will fix that so that you can see Kathy, you can like the second little video thing over, the one little box, you can click on that and you can see Kathy and you can just still see the words up there, the story. Does that make sense?
I pinned her, and so she's like all over my screen.
Regina, we have you muted.
Oh, sorry.
If everyone will keep their video or their sound off, you can fix it where you can see Kathy and you can see the words.
I can see both.
Yeah,
I just
you
clicked
can see
twice.
both. So if everyone will adjust their view where you can see both. That way you can see the words and you can see Kathy. Okay, perfect.
okay, you guys are awesome. Okay, boys and girls, so we have our chunking page. Now we're going to put a lot on our chunking page. So if you will go ahead and write your name up in the top corner, write it really, really, not real big, because this is going to be filled with work. Write your name kind of small up at the top. Okay. Then we're going to write the title of our text. So help me, before we write the title, look at the top of our page. It says shared read, and then there's a G word up there. What is that G word? Genre. Oh my goodness, that's kind of like a big word, kind of a big word. Help me. What does genre mean, guys?
What kind of text is?
What kind of text is, what type of text is. Excellent. That is exactly what it is. Right next to genre, we see expository text. Does anybody know what an expository text is? Think for just a minute. Expository text. Do you hear anything in the word expository that could help you to figure out what it means? Expose. You guys are amazing. When you hear the word expository, your brain needs to say to you, expose. So I say expository, you say
Expose.
expository.
Expose.
So when you see expository, you realize that the author has written that text to expose you to some facts. And that's super exciting because expository texts make us smarter. You will be smarter about Alaska, about your knowledge of Alaska after we read this text because you have been exposed to some facts. So that's really exciting. So let's go ahead. We're going to write our title, and it's Alaska, a Special Place. So let's write that on our chunking page.
we have to underline it? It's a title.
Oh, now hold tight. No, ma'am. Don't. Just wait on me. Wait on me
Okay.
just a minute. I love that
It's a
you guys are ready to
title.
roll, but I like you. It is a title, but it's a different kind of title. We're going to do something different.
Oh.
So I'm super proud of you for asking that, though. I don't know if you were at the one for story arc. We talked about that when you are doing a story arc and you are writing the title and it is a book. What do we give it, guys? What do? We give it underline.
Underline.
Ready? Let's say book.
Book.
You give it an underline, and that's super important. And this absolutely is in a book, but it is a small section within a larger book. So it does not get underlined because it is a piece of text within an anthology. So we will give it, what does anybody know what we do? Quotation marks. And the way to remember that is, say it with me. Ready? Short story. Everybody ready?
Short story.
So if you're going to write the title for a text that is within a larger anthology, you always remember to use quotation marks. Excellent. All right, so we will get started. And this is what we do. I'm going to read to you the first paragraph. As I'm reading, I'm going to leave out words. I want you to fill in the blanks. I also want you to be thinking, what is really, really important in that first paragraph? Because like our grocery list, we make a grocery list so that we don't forget. We're making a chunking page so we do not forget. Absolutely. So here we go. Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
All right. Where can you find mountains
Glaciers.
and volcanoes? Alaska is the location you would
Visit.
Alaska has different regions. In each
Part.
Part.
of the state, there are different
Features.
Okay, so in that paragraph, what was important that we would want to put on our chunking page? Because we do not want to forget. So I want you to whisper share with the person sitting next to you, with your thinking partner. Look back in that paragraph. What was important? What do we want to put on our chunking page?
Different regions. Different features.
I love what I hear. I hear a lot of great chunking. You guys are getting this.
Mountains, glaciers.
Okay. You guys ready to share out? You ready? All right, here we go. Now, let me also remind you, when you begin chunking, because a lot of times when we take a test and it asks questions, it'll say, in paragraph 6, blah, 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 blah. So I always encourage kids when they're chunking to number the paragraphs. That way they always, it's a reference. They'll know exactly where the information came from. So if you will go ahead and number your paragraph. I heard some amazing chunking girls. I'm super proud of you. So what do we want to write on our chunking page that we do not want to forget? Help me out.
Alaska, because it's in Alaska.
Thank you, because this is in Alaska. That's what this whole text, this whole expository text is about. Now, Alaska, hold tight. What kind of noun is Alaska?
Proper.
What do we do to proper nouns, guys? Capital letters, absolutely. So we always, and as teachers, remember, practice makes permanent. We want to, every chance we get, you throw that out there. Then you remind them what to do to proper nouns. So we're going to write Alaska. Excellent, thank you. What else did we read about in that first paragraph that was really important that we do not want to forget? What's in Alaska? Mountains. What else?
Glaciers.
What else?
Volcanoes.
Excellent. I also like to put a little bullet right there, right beside each of the words. If you want to do that, that's perfectly fine. Okay, I heard you say mountains. I am not artistic at all, but I love to incorporate pictures into chunking lessons, not elaborate pictures, but quick little pictures. So if you want to, this is just totally whatever you want to do, we could go ahead and draw a mountain. Okay? Or if you don't want to, you can put the abbreviation for mountains. It's whatever. We want to do this. We want to be cognizant of our time, and we want to write things on our chunking page, but we also don't want to take a lot of time. So we know that mountains are found in Alaska. What else is found? What else did y'all say?
Glaciers.
Glaciers. What else? Yeah, no, we're not drawing any glaciers, girls. What else? Anything?
Volcanoes.
Absolutely. So we know already that if you went to Alaska, you would see what, guys?
Mountains,
Mount-
glaciers, and volcanoes.
Absolutely. Okay, what else is important in this paragraph that we absolutely want to remember?
Regions.
Regions.
So Alaska is broken up into regions. Excellent. Thank you. Anything else?
It says it's part of the state. It says in
Oh.
each part of the state. So is it a state?
Alaska is a state. That is a great question. That's
Okay.
super, super important to know. Thank you for sharing that with us. I love it. Okay, anything else? So do you want, because you just shared that, do we want to maybe put a little dash and write state right here?
Mhm.
I think that's a great idea. Thank you so much for pointing that out. Okay, what else, guys? So we already know Alaska is a state. Thank you. We know that there's mountains, glaciers, and volcanoes. We know that it's broken up into regions. What else? Is there anything else that's important? Anything within the regions? What does it say? It says something about within
Features.
Ooh, features, because we
Features.
might. Okay. So what about if we just draw an arrow so we know within the regions?
There's features.
Exactly. There have different features. Awesome. You guys are getting the chunking thing. I'm super proud of you. Okay. Now we're going to go to paragraph 2. So if you want to go ahead on your chunking page and put a number 2 and circle it. Paragraph 2 has a heading. You guys tell me, what does it say?
Land
Land
features.
features. So what do we know we're getting ready to read about?
Land
Land.
features.
Excellent. Very, very good. So same drill. I'm going to read. You're going to fill in the blanks. Okay?
Okay.
Everybody's good to go?
Yes.
The tallest mountain in the
United
States.
is in
Alaska.
It is called
Denali.
Some people go to Alaska just to
Climb.
All right. I want you to do the same thing. I want you to whisper share with your thinking partner. What's important in that paragraph?
In the United States.
And it's called Denali.
Love what I hear.
But if we're talking features, we're talking land features. It's the tallest mountain in Denali. Yeah, that's a sweet paragraph. Tallest mountain in USA, Denali.
Who said that?
Located.
Stephanie.
Stephanie Mathis.
Stephanie Mathis. Yay for you that you're chatting away, girlfriend. I love it.
of people there.
Thank you. Oh, thanks. I could only see them.
Yeah, that's I was reading all the
I
time.
didn't
They're
see
working
any of
with you.
this. I'm
Yeah.
so, guys, this is, like I said, it is something that kids, people of all ages use
Yeah.
this, and it helps you remember, even adults. If we would have had a group of adults and we would have read the first paragraph, I don't know that they would have remembered everything that we had
Or
already
we just
remembered.
keep reading, and then we come back and say, okay, what was?
That, and that's what we do as teachers.
Yes.
I'm not, but because
Yeah.
time is always
Yes.
an issue, we just read all the way through it, and then at the end, so what was that about? Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
But again, slow down reading to
Yeah.
speed up.
Comprehension.
Absolutely. And that is our job as teachers, because that empowers kiddos to feel successful. All right, so we're on paragraph 2. I heard amazing chunking out there. Help me out. What needs to go on our chunking page that we do not want to forget?
Tallest
Tallest
mountain.
mountain.
Tallest mountain. You guys
In
are
the US.
amazing.
In
And
the
that's
US.
super
In the United
important,
States.
very important. Tallest, and again, not an artist. If you want to do this, you absolutely can. If you want to write mountain, make yourself happy. But as Carrie just told us, not the tallest mountain in the world, it's the tallest mountain in the,
United
so it's
States.
extremely
USA.
important that we write that.
Mhm.
Tallest mountain in the United States. Excellent, thank you. All right, what else is important in that paragraph?
We want to hog it all up. Y'all can share.
We've been saying
What
stuff.
else?
Denali.
They've been
I'm
doing
just
a
saying
great
it
job.
quieter than y'all.
There's some competition between the coaches. Okay.
It's called Denali.
Yeah,
Exactly,
Kennedy
exactly.
said it. Yeah,
Kennedy.
Denali.
Denali, love it, and that's stinking important.
Mhm.
That's the tallest mountain in the United States. It is called Denali. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Anything else that we want to remember from that paragraph?
People climb it.
Yes, people go there just to climb it. That's important. And again, please notice, I'm not writing complete sentences. I'm not spending time doing that. We're just putting words, phrases, pictures to help us remember. Okay. Guys feeling good about what you're doing? Got some
Yes.
knowledge going on in that brain? Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to paragraph number 3 again. Let's go ahead and put a 3 on our chunking page so that we remember that.
There's someone that said,
Uh-huh.
Regina, okay, I feel kind of ignorant and special teacher, only know chunking And vocabulary, this is all new for me. Love it.
Yay! Thank you, Reggie. To be honest, it's our favorite. We absolutely love it, and I think it's something, like I said, it's a lifelong strategy. I had someone tell me years ago, the strategies you teach kids, and I know we have to teach a lot of scaffolding as far as, so we're going to teach all kinds of things that they'll use and then they'll be finished with. But the very best strategies we teach to kiddos are the ones they take with them forever.
Yes.
And I really believe this is something for junior high teachers. I think this would be an incredible resource for them.
Yes.
High school, and if we prepare the kiddos in elementary to do this, then when they get to junior high and high school, they don't have to be taught. It's just, like you said, a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Here we go, paragraph number 3. You guys know the drill. So I'm going to read a paragraph and you're going to fill in the blanks.
A lot of positives.
Alaska has the biggest
Glaciers.
in all the
United States.
Glaciers are made when one layer of snow falls on top of
Another.
The snowfall becomes very thick. It turns to
Ice.
the growth of a glacier takes many years to
Form.
Okay, so if you will whisper share with your thinking partner, what was important in that paragraph?
I think how they form is important.
Love what I hear.
Many years.
Yeah, and that depends. That absolutely.
Depends on the
because you
length,
want-
doesn't it?
It depends on the length and it depends on the stamina of the children. If you as the teacher are modeling this and you realize, you know what, my kids seem like they're a little distracted, then you shut it down because you want novelty. You want to, this is so exciting. Like, not everybody gets to chunk. Like, this is a big deal to get to do this. And so I think, you just have to kind of read your kiddos. I would not, yes, I wouldn't, exactly. I wouldn't, so Melanie, I wouldn't, you could absolutely do part of it, but I would absolutely go back and finish it. Make sure you don't do part of a story and then decide, my kids, their stamina, they're worn out, I'm going to let it go. Absolutely not. You can wait and finish it up the next day. In fact, I've seen lots of teachers do it. Sometimes when I go in and model a lesson, especially in the upper grades, the text will be longer. And so I will, maybe model several paragraphs and then I leave. And the teachers, they can either continue, or a lot of them have said, they'll wait and finish it another day. So you want to complete it. But you just, like I said, that's your call. This is going to look in your classroom probably totally different than what you're seeing from me. You've got to make it your own. So just, be responsive to your kiddos. All right, I heard some great chunking for paragraph 3. So help me out, coaches. What did you hear in paragraph 3 that's super important that we do not want to forget?
The biggest glacier.
Biggest glaciers. Okay, now me, I like to write words funny sometimes. So biggest is big. So if it was me and I was doing it, I'd probably write it like this, just so it stands out to the kiddos. Does that make sense? I would go ahead and just, you don't have to. Visual support always is beneficial. So in any way you can make it as beneficial as possible, go for it. So it has the biggest glaciers.
Again, the United States.
Oh, again, I love that y'all are saying that because that's super important.
Maybe how glaciers are made.
Ooh, how glaciers are made. How are glaciers made? What did it say?
Top of the other.
Ooh, okay, I love it. So glaciers are when snow falls on top of another layer. So could we do something like this, maybe?
Oh, I like
And maybe that's not a visual for you, but to me, I look at that and I go, oh, it's snow on top of snow. And kids love being creative with this. Like they love making it their own.
It says it turns to ice. So can we do like an equals ice?
That's exactly what I would do. I love it. And again, I might write it in big letters because.
Or just make sure everybody's.
Yeah, we're going to try and flip back. So when Kathy's talking, like drawing, we'll try and flip it to her screen so she's big. And then when we're reading,
So
put
that
it
way
back.
they
So
can see
if
your
it kind of
screen
has
too big
issues,
on the
let me know.
recording.
Oh, I wonder.
But if that works, but everyone has to make sure they're on mute because if you make any noise, it's going to flip to your screen really fast. So please make sure you're on mute.
That's fine with me.
Doesn't
I have no
happen.
problem with that.
Yeah. So if that's okay with everybody,
Okay.
we'll try that.
Got it. Okay.
That way you can see a little bit better what she's writing.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else in this paragraph that you do not want to forget because it's really, really important? Anything else?
Takes a lot of years.
Ooh, it takes years to form. And if you know how to abbreviate, if you're teaching upper grade, let them abbreviate. If not, feel free to write it out. Just teach kids to be smart chunkers.
Yep.
All right. Anything else? Okay, so let's stop just for a second. We've chunked 3 paragraphs. Let's see how smart we are, guys. So let's look up here. Here we go. Everybody ready? I mean, everybody sitting up straight, making me proud? All right, so what's the title of our text? Read it to me.
Alaska, a special place.
We know that Alaska is a
State.
What's in Alaska?
Mountains,
glaciers,
volcanoes.
We know that Alaska has
Regions.
that are broken into, that have a lot of
Features.
Excellent. We know that the
Tallest mountains
in the United States is in
Alaska.
What's the name of that mountain?
Denali.
Very, very good. Why do people go to that mountain sometimes?
They like the climate.
Awesome. What else do we have in Alaska?
Biggest
Biggest
glaciers
glaciers
Very,
in
very
the
good.
US.
In the United States. Thank you. What is a glacier?
Snow on snow.
That equals, that turns into
Ice.
excellent. Does it happen quickly?
Nope.
Takes
Takes years.
Look at all we've learned and really and truly think about this, teachers. If you guys, if I was sitting in the middle and you guys are sitting all around me and I'm reading this page to you, do you think you would remember everything that we have up on our chunking page? If we didn't chunk.
Oh, if we
If I
did
just- I'm so sorry, I totally messed
No.
you up. If I just said, okay, boys and girls, I want you to come sit around. I'm gonna get the rocker, I'm gonna read this to you, and everyone's sitting around, would you remember all these
No,
things?
no.
And they're important things. And give me a thumbs up. Did any of you learn anything from reading this one page in the 2nd grade reading writing workshop?
Oh, yeah.
Did you gain any knowledge that you did not have before?
Yes.
Exactly.
And I was looking for like what do I want to put on my chunky page? What's important? I'm really reading for that stuff.
And that is what, when I would go in and model, that's what I'd see the first time I would do it. They were like not sure. And then afterwards, I mean, they were all about trying to make sure that they're writing down or giving me the most important words so that I can write it up here. So yeah, it's a challenge. It's fun. It does slow it down. Literally, I could have read this to you in what, a minute? And we definitely spent more than a minute doing this, but I think it empowers kids. It helps them realize, wow, I know a lot about Alaska, you know? So that's what we want to do.
And I have a real quick question.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
Mrs. Klepper, so you've made an anchor chart.
Right.
So is it when your story's over, is this something that you could put and use later to pull back out
Oh,
to review?
Yes.
Compare.
Yes, I
Compare.
absolutely, good question, Carrie. I absolutely would post this because for many reasons. One, because remember, your goal is that kids can chunk on their own. Your goal is that your kiddos are going to be able to go to their desk. They're going to read their text either in an actual textbook or on the computer, and they will be able to chunk. So that is, and so if they can see your visual, then it reminds them, oh yeah, I got to remember to number my paragraphs. Oh yeah, I put a little bullet by each thing that I'm trying to remember. And oh yeah, if it's within an anthology or a bigger, yes, then it's a short story. Oh yeah, because you could definitely chunk a book.
Yeah.
So if it's going to be a book, oh yeah, I need to underline it because it's a book.
And then I was just thinking, because a lot of times we ask our students to, where's the text, cite the text.
Yes.
So, and then they're having to search the entire text looking, because they know they read it somewhere.
Right.
But here it'd be like, okay, she's asking about volcanoes. Where did it speak about volcanoes? I look at
Paragraph.
my chunking page, go straight to paragraph 1.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's, guys, it serves so many purposes.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
organizes kiddos' thoughts, which we already talked about how anchor charts do that. That's a non-negotiable. That is amazing. It also just helps us, like, it helps us be smarter. It helps us be better at comprehension, remembering what we read. And I think we all know we have kiddos, they can read, but there's no comprehension. And that's a struggle for all of us as teachers. So if we can figure out ways to slow down the reading, we absolutely will see a benefit in comprehension. Okay, I think I was going to do more of the text, but I just looked at the clock and there's really not much time. So if you were modeling this in a classroom, obviously you would continue. Then what is a lot of fun is, because you want the kiddos to be able to do it by themselves. So what I usually do is I model first, several paragraphs. Then we do what's called a fishbowl. And I think we talked about a fishbowl the other day, but if you're not familiar, so right here I have Carrie and Angela, and they have been chunking and they've been doing an amazing job. So what I would say is I would say, okay, boys and girls, now it is time for you to read on your own. actually with your shoulder partner, and you to chunk the paragraph yourself. So Carrie and Angela, would y'all be willing to be our fish? Would you be willing to model this for us? You, of course, you would say yes. And then we aren't going to do this, but I'm just telling you kind of how. So the rest of the class would come form a fishbowl, stand around Carrie and Angela, and they would watch them read the text. So you have to make sure as a teacher, okay, Carrie and Angela, let's just practice this. Okay, so we're going to do 3 things. What's the first thing you girls are going to do? What did you hear me do when I was up with you?
You were reading.
You're going to read the text. So you guys are going to read the text. Then what's the second thing you're going to do?
We're thinking about what
Think
words.
about what's important in the paragraph. Then the third thing you're going to do,
Write it down.
you're going to chunk on your page. You guys are amazing. So everybody help me. What's the first thing you're going to expect your kiddos to do? Read. Second thing you're going to expect your kiddos to do? Think about what's important. And what's the third thing you're going to expect your kiddos to do? Write it down on your chunking page. So we would have all the rest of the class stand up and come form a circle. And Carrie and Andrew would literally read it out loud. They would discuss what was important, like you guys have already been doing, and then they would write it on the chunking page. Then we would all go back to our place, and we would literally let them tell us what to write on the chunking
What's that
page.
gradual release we've been talking about as
It
well?
absolutely is gradual release. Then I would say, okay, everyone, you have your thinking partner, the one that you were going to work with your thinking partner. You were going to whisper read the paragraph together. Then you were going to discuss what was important, and then you were going to write on your chunking page. Because, and like I said, I'm not saying that would happen the first time. The first time it may be all teacher. You'll know when your kids are ready, depending on your grade, depending on what you feel they're comfortable with, but you want absolutely to use gradual release so they can give it a try, so they can share. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay.
Can you share about the time that you?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm getting ready to. Here in just a minute.
Amelia's question.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, where?
Do you think chunking could be used in a tier two group to help with comprehensions, or should this just be used for whole group?
Oh my goodness, I think that's an amazing question.
That's a
Thank you
good
for
question.
asking that, Melanie. I absolutely think you could use it at tier 2 for sure. Because I think sometimes, especially tier 2 kiddos, they're already feeling a little insecure anyway. And this shows them how stinking smart they are. This shows.
Look at
I promise you, when kids finish a chunking lesson, or maybe not finish, but they're just very engaged, they're all about, they're stinking proud because they're stinking smart. And it really is. It's so cute. It is absolutely wonderful. So, yeah, I mean, they really are. And so in answer to your question, tier 2, those kiddos, they already struggle with confidence. So if we can make them think, I'm pretty smart, I know a lot about Alaska, you know, then the more they believe in themselves, the better able they are to be who they need to be as far as to be good learners and to, you know, learn what we have to give them. So, like I said, I think that was a great question, Melanie. Thank you so very, very much for asking. Okay, let's move on. I'm going to quit modeling the lesson. I think you guys get it. It's the same as what we've just done. So let's go ahead and look at real quickly. So look at your lesson. If you, Miss Wendy, can we go back to this? Okay. Because that's what you were asking about. Okay. All right. So if you will look on the chunking lesson page, it's like I said, it's typed out for you. Change it, make it fit whatever you want. Don't forget about the grocery list, because I think that's kind of a fun part for kids to remember. So that, because I have modeled lessons before, and kids, especially kids that are like perfectionists, they want to write out when I go to the grocery store. Not really, but you know what I'm saying. And that slows them down. So that defeats the purpose of what we're doing. If you printed off the chunking lesson, I don't know, but we're going to look at the second page.
That other one?
Yes, ma'am. It's just this right here. Yeah. Okay. It's just the second page. Okay, so if you look at, go to number 21, and it just says, have students work with their partners and then eventually on their own. That's your goal. Your goal is that you can turn kids loose, that they can go to take the Wonders Weekly assessment on, you know, on Friday or whatever, and they go to the computer with their chunking page, and on their own they read, they think about what was important, and they put it on their chunking page. That is ultimately our goal. But we want to scaffold it. We want to give them a lot of practice. Like you said, Angela, you want to practice as a teacher, let them work as a group, and then work on their own. If you will look on number 22, I didn't do this for you because we really didn't have enough time, but a lot of times after we've chunked an entire text, because this is not that long of a text, so I would probably chunk this entire text in one class setting. I have them close their books, and just using the chunking page, we go over how smart we've become. And that it just seems like they kind of sit up straight when they realize, yeah, I don't even need my book. Look at what I all know. So that's kind of a fun, just make it fun. Just make them think that this is the best kept secret. And it works great things. If you will, and then if you look where it's all capitalized about remind students, when we're practicing it, we get to visit with our shoulder partner. But if it's a test, obviously, it's you on your own, and that's our goal. That's what we want them to do. Model, absolutely. And then for comparing two articles, I thought this was amazing. So here's my chunking page, if you can see it. Say you have two articles, because I know when we take the SCAs that for the kiddos, I know a lot of times it'll ask them to compare two texts. So it is so awesome, and I have done this before as well, and it's so beneficial. They can take their paper, they fold it in half, they chunk text 1 on this side, they chunk text 2 on this side, and they draw lines to connect the similarities. It makes it so much easier, and it gives them a visual. They've already spent the time doing the chunking, and then they just go and connect, and that is very, very purposeful and very, very beneficial to kiddos. And it gives them, like I said, all this paper right here, it just gives them a plan. It gives them a structure. What do we do? If I've got to compare, I know how to do it. I go back and I just connect what was the same. So I think that is very, very helpful for kiddos. Anyway, okay, there was one more page, Miss Wendy. And yeah, it was just this page right here. All right, and so real quickly, like I said, this is just kind of a sum it up, that you just start off asking the kids if they've ever forgotten anything. The best part about that is the teacher is going to be raising her hand. And so when the kiddos can look and see that their favorite person in the classroom, their teacher, forgets things, then automatically the buy-in is really, really great. And then today we're going to do something that good readers do. How many kids want to be good readers? Absolutely. So when you say this is what good readers do, there's not a kid in your classroom that does not want to be a good reader. So again, it's a real motivation. We're going to chunk. It's super fun to do the hand signals. The kids love doing that. I love letting them do it to their shoulder partner and their face partner and then their teacher, and they love doing that. So that's fun. I didn't talk about it today, but a lot of times I talk about, it's like when you go in the cafeteria to eat your lunch, you eat it one bite at a time. And that's how we're going to read our text. We're going to read it one paragraph at a time. And so it kind of gives them another visual of what you want them to do. Again, research says, it's in something that we've made up, this is the real deal, that when taught in small chunks, overall retention and comprehension is higher. And that's our goal as teachers. And then Carrie, we talked at one point about like pre-K and kinder for the little people. They can't maybe go in and write a lot of words, but what could they do instead?
They can absolutely draw pictures, and as the year goes on, they can write the CVC words. And this would be great for them to journal as well.
Oh, to journal. Yes. Oh my goodness.
Text.
Okay, cool.
We've had some middle school teachers share that this would be a great strategy for the middle school and high school.
Oh, yay. So middle school teachers, if we as elementary teachers give it a try and get kids comfortable with it and familiar with it, then they're going to get to middle school and y'all's job's going to be easy. Well, maybe not easy, but easier.
Yes.
So like I said, if I didn't use it when I first learned about this strategy, we did learn it from Judy that comes to Taylor. And the first time I learned it, and then when I started using it myself, if we have things that help us as individuals, man, the passion that we feel for the strategy is real. So if I hope that you guys will feel like it is a good thing. But like I said, hand signals are super important. Pictures are super important. Word if possible, or words if necessary. But this is a strategy that works for all ages. So,
and I didn't know about this strategy when I first came, but now watching Kathy and man, it would be so fun to do in kindergarten.
Oh.
They would just absolutely, it would help increase their comprehension as well.
Well, like I said, I feel like it's a great way to make kiddos feel smart. And at the end of the day, what is our job? To make it, and like you know, like Melanie asked, sometimes the kiddos that struggle the most to feel smart, those are the ones that I think this would be a great, really benefit them. So I think that's it that I have. Do you girls have anything to add or?
Great job,
Great
Kathy.
job, and I mean, the chats are just like, love it, love
Well,
it.
Everybody's loving it.
But it
And it
does
needs
take
to be on the
time. Like I said, it does take time. And that's the thing about it. So you want to look at their stamina, which was a great question. Maybe you only do half of it one day and finish the other half the next day. You want to, like I said, you got to sell it. It's like everything we do as teachers, we want to sell it so kids are bought in. So
And completely a strategy that will be a lifelong strategy.
mhm, absolutely.
Reading anything, even an instructional guide on how to put your table together. or something, you know,
There you go.
Okay, I need this
Yeah.
bolt and this bolt. That's
Yeah.
what I got out of this whole
Yes.
paragraph.
Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yes, like I said, I think we're all passionate about chunking. So, and if you need any help, the girls are super, super available to come in and model chunking
We'll try to take
lessons.
that torch. Kathy was our chunking queen.
We'll bring this video with us.
Yeah.
They're asking for it to be like,
Yeah. Anyways, like I said, guys, I think you will benefit. I know there have been a lot of people real quickly that have chunked. Does anyone want to share? And it might be easier to just unmute yourself, or maybe there. Would anyone like to share any successes that they've seen in their classroom that they feel that they'd like to share? And I don't know if I can't tell if did she? Okay. Sylvia, are you on here? Is there anything you could share?
Yeah, they should be able to mute themselves. If not, they're on speaker.
No, that's okay. That's okay. No big deal.
I
I just loved the kids'
Sylvia.
comprehension. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, we
Now,
know.
now,
Okay, my kids' comprehension went sky high when we did this. They were able to retain it. They remembered it even after a week. They were excited to chunk. It wasn't anything that, you fall into that routine. They were very excited to chunk. I do recommend doing it like skipping here and there, because after a while it's going to become redundant.
Absolutely.
And they're not. So taking it a little bit at a time is going to help. I just felt that they just loved it. They loved it and learned so much. Thank you, Kathy, for coming and doing
you're
that with my kiddos.
Oh, that was so fun. That was such a fun time. So, anybody else?
Kathy, you should start a YouTube page. I agree.
Oh.
Kathy needs to start a YouTube page. She's amazing.
Oh no, you
Yes.
guys are crazy.
We will miss
Anyways,
her
like I said,
dearly.
well, give it a try. Even if you're thinking, I don't know, give it a try. I promise you, I think you really will be happy. And I totally agree with Sylvia. It is not something you use with every single text. Because you want some novelty. You want it to be like, oh my goodness, guess what we're going to do, boys and girls? Exactly. This
All
is,
the strategies you wouldn't want to
no, if you overuse them, then they lose their effectiveness. So great. That was great, Sylvia. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay. Anybody else? Are you guys good? All right, Miss Wendy. Oh, is that it? Thanks, guys, so much. We appreciate you. We hope you have a great, great summer.
Okay. Can everybody hear me? We got to be careful because we'll start echoing if I unmute before she mutes. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us today and joining us all week if you've been here all week. One more last thing. Let me send you this link in our chat so you get paid. If my chat will come back. My chat's been weird today. It like goes away, comes back. I can't get it back. There it is. Okay. There's the link for you to click on to get paid. Make sure you choose today's lesson, which was chunking. If you can't open this link, you should just be able to click on it. Like I can go here and just click, and it should just open up if you click on the link that I put in today's chat. You shouldn't have to copy and paste. You should just be able to click on the link. And then you scroll down, name, put your school. And then when you go to name of course, today's is chunking the importance of student achievement. If for some reason, when you click on it, if it does not open up, you can copy and paste, but it should open right up when you click on it. If you can't get it to open, just email me and I will send it to you. Excuse me, again, if you can't find all of your attachments, email me and I will send you those attachments. And that's all we have, ladies. Anything else? We good? Okay, we'll stay. I will stay on for a few more minutes. I am going to put us on mute. So if you do ask a question, maybe in my chat doesn't like me today, then you will have to type it in the chat because I will not have to, I won't be able to see you. So please type it because we won't hear you. If anything, if you have anything else, let me know real quickly. If not, that's all I got. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye. Have a great rest of your day. Oh my gosh. Hold on. We're I know. This doesn't like me today. No, I'm not on mute, so don't say anything.